Welcome, everyone. My name is Julie. I want to remind everyone that this meeting will be recorded and available on our YouTube channel. We are Arvadans for Progressive Action, and this is our March meeting, funding schools during a budget crisis. Do we have any new people here today who would like to introduce themselves?
Would like to what?
Introduce themselves. Can you hear me okay?
My name is Patricia Merrifield, heavy into the Democratic Party.
Welcome. What brought you here today?
I been looking for a group that I could be part of, and hard to find somebody who will accept somebody who's as radical as I am. I guess.
Welcome. Well, welcome. Teresa, welcome. Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Elizabeth. I'm kind of just looking to get more involved in things in general, and I met some folks from this group at a vigil that was in Old Town a little while ago. And then this meeting seemed like a perfect one for my first one because my husband is a public school teacher, and I actually learned a little bit about this issue through another group that I'm part of through my church. So it seems like there's a lot of good groups coalescing towards this Cut the Ropes campaign. So.
Oh, welcome.
Thanks.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Lisa Garry. I'm a teacher at Arvada High School, and I will be presenting the Cut the Ropes campaign a little bit later in the meeting.
Well, welcome. Thank you. Do we have any elected officials or people running for office?
We have a hand raised on the Zoom.
Okay. Would you like to introduce yourself, Beth?
Hi, yeah, my name's Beth Chrysler. I'm here with my wife, Michaela Guthrie.
Hi.
And I'll turn on my camera as well. Hi. We just joined recently, and we are trying to get more involved in our community. We've lived in Arvada for a couple of years, so we're excited to be here.
Thank you. And what are you running for? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
Oh, she's not.
I don't think we're running for anything.
So do we have any elected officials or people who are running? No. Okay. We have a tradition here where we share things that keep us up at night and things that give us hope. There are lots of things that keep me up at night, so I'll share what gives me hope. This gives me hope. Going to rallies gives me hope. Seeing people on street corners with signs gives me hope. Anybody want to share?
I'll share.
Yes, please.
My sister is heavily involved in a group that's very much like this in the middle of Wyoming. She's been a Democrat for her whole life, as are her 6 children. I believe there are 8 Democrats in Wyoming.
Thank you.
Yeah, I want you to know that's a good thing for hope is
Yeah.
there are people even in Wyoming
Yes,
that have had it.
that's all of the small changes are giving us hope. Yes, Evie.
So this is something that worries me, but gives me hope also. Governor Polis, and probably Lisa Weil is going to mention this. Governor Polis said he wants to opt us into the federal private school voucher program. And that really concerns me. But what gives me hope is that many of the Democratic parties, county parties around the state are passing resolutions denouncing that.
Good. And as we always encourage people to call and write your elected officials and let them know your ideas and your opinions. Yes, Bruce.
Yeah, and something real quick, special elections. They're going for Democrats big time.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I'm just going to say, like, organization and organizing around public school funding and getting there. We have the 2 ballot measures that we're going to talk about today. We're talking about it tonight. This is the 3rd or 4th meeting that I've been in this week where it is. We have the League of Women Voters. We had Public School Strong, which I recommend all of you to join. On Thursday, we had our orientation and kickoff. We're here today. And so just we're all talking about this and getting to a place where we can, as Lisa's going to talk about later, get it done.
So what I hear is there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of things happening. People are getting involved and actually organizing. That is something great to think about. Yes, Jim.
Tying in with Bruce's special election, the ColoradoNewsline.com yesterday had an article, or a day before, an article about the potential of Lauren Boebert actually losing the most conservative district.
That's cheering. Oh, you guys, thank you so much, because I thought, what do we have to be hopeful for? And you just told me. At the beginning or at every meeting, we collect donations because we do have some things to pay for, so I'm going to pass this around. Also, Nancy sitting up front is our timekeeper. When people come up to speak, keep an eye on her and she will show you how much time you have left. We are now going to have our action leaders speak and give reports. We will start with Liz and communications. Now, can everybody hear me okay? Because we do have a microphone. Okay.
Can everybody on Zoom hear okay?
Okay.
Okay. I'm a soft talker, so if I feel like I'm screaming, I'm trying to use a loud voice. Hi, everybody. I'm Liz Maddie. I support the communications team here at APA, and our lovely friend Pat Malone has been supporting us as our new member coordinator, and that includes entering people's contact information into MailChimp so that everybody can stay apprised of our activities. And she's swamped with all the good stuff that the IPT is doing. So we're on the hunt for somebody either in this room, on the Zoom, or if you know a friend who's not in this room that would be great at this, somebody super detail oriented who can work with our content manager on MailChimp to enter in people's contact information and then process that, send out welcome emails to new members of APA, and also use who's on Facebook as well to support some of our group activities there. So just a plug, if you are interested, you can drop me, we can drop us a line at our Gmail address. You can respond to one of the newsletters. You can grab me, shout at me and say that you want to do that. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. Next up, we have Allison with education.
All right, I'm going to use the microphone because it's fun. I don't have to talk so loud. I do have a little bit of a cold, so I'm just being safe. So for education, the big things we're going to hear about the budget and all of that. So I'm not going to go into details about that. But there's a board meeting on Thursday, this coming Thursday, which is the 12th, I believe. And Engage Jeffco, which is like a partner organization to ours, is going to be speaking on ICE policy and trying to get the district to have a clearer policy on what to do if ICE comes onto a school campus. Right now, there is a resolution. It's a little vague. It's like if ICE behaved and followed the law and waited for a warrant and waited for a vestibule and waited for the legal team to be called, like that would all go as planned. But we don't really feel like they're following the law, so we'd like the district to have a contingency plan. So if you would like to speak to the district, even if you don't have a plan in mind, if you just want to say how it's been impacting yourself, your students, we'd love for students to come. If you know any high school students or middle school students that would be willing to speak to the board. So anyways, come to the board, share a thought, or just send an email to the board. That's always an option too, because they need to hear a lot of different and we want them to pass a policy, not just a resolution. So that's my main pitch for education this week. And then next is affordable housing, and I'll just go ahead and speak on behalf of Mindy, who is our affordable housing team lead, and she has decided to step down for various reasons. And so we still have that team, and we would love for somebody to step up and be the affordable team housing lead. What does that mean? At the very minimum, being a team lead means coming to our once a month leadership meetings and helping plan the topics for these general APA meetings. That's the bare minimum. Sending out an email occasionally about what's happening with affordable housing or homelessness in the city. And then, the maximum is like whatever you want to take it to. If you want to like be sending out things every week and actions and letter campaigns, you can do that. But so if you know anybody that is has some knowledge of affordable housing or has a passion about homelessness, we would love to have a new team lead for that role. So yeah. Thank you, Allison. Okay, there's some info raised on.
What was that?
I would
Sorry.
also add that the leadership meetings are all done by Zoom.
Yes, not in person. We can, yeah.
Thank you, Alvin. Anti-war Bruce.
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna use the mic too, because a soft voice. I'm Bruce, I'm with Anti-War Action Team. The Anti-War Action Team works to educate people on the enormous negative impact of war on, and the preparation for war on Arvada and the world. We believe thousands of people being killed and large sections of the earth being destroyed is a bad idea. Most people agree with us. What people need to be aware of is that the genocide in Palestine continues despite the farce ceasefire, and that all of our Colorado members of Congress continue to support weapons used in this genocide. The public is with us, Congress is not. Our Representative Brittany Pedersen is particularly bad, as she not only supports more weapons for genocide, but she has weaponized anti-Semitism to attack people standing up for Palestinians. Since we have two progressive anti-genocide candidates for U.S. Senate, we are encouraging people to get involved in the Democratic primary caucuses and the primary. You have to be registered by, there's a lot of other reasons to do that too. You have to be registered as a Democrat by February 13th. You can register for the caucus right up until the last minute, but the party prefers you give them a little notice for obvious administrative reasons. Our newest project is we're planning on getting involved in the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, and we're going to attempt to override House Bill 16-1284, which prevents PARA from cooperating with this movement. The boycott movement is asking us to avoid Chevron, Texaco, Intel, Dell, Disney, Amazon, Airbnb, and many other companies. Our next meeting will be March 4 at 6:30.
Thank you, Bruce.
Next we have climate, environment, Darlan.
Thanks. I'm Darlan. I'm the Climate Action Team Lead, and thank you to all the folks who submitted written feedback to the City of Arvada on their Climate and Sustainability Action Plan. We had an enormous turnout. There was 260 comments, and out of those, about 20% were strongly in support of the plan, and 60% were pretty supportive, and 20% were climate deniers. So we kind of got a bell curve, but I think the good news is that the coordinator was really happy with all the feedback. The bad news is it's going to take more time to incorporate all the feedback. So we're looking at a city council vote in April instead of March. So the good news about that is we have more city council meetings to have the opportunity to give public comment, to encourage the city council to vote unanimously for the plan. If we can get a unanimous vote, we have a much better chance of getting more funding and more support and more city staff for the plan. The next city council meeting is this coming Tuesday, February 10th, and it's going to be a council workshop that's focused on the Climate and Sustainability Action Plan. City council is going to give their feedback on the plan, and unfortunately, we won't be able to give public comment at that meeting. But you're all strongly encouraged to attend, if not in person, at least virtually, or at least watch the recording to see what City Council says. The more people who can attend in person, the better, because we can show that there are a lot of people that are interested in this. In addition, I'm going to be planning a meeting for next week on Zoom where we'll discuss giving public comments on February 17th, the first city council meeting where you can give public comment following that workshop so that we can address city council's concerns. So that's it for me. Thanks.
What time did they meet?
It's going to be 6 o'clock on Tuesday at City Hall.
Next we have political action with Tyler.
Thank you.
Hey y'all, my name is Tyler Knappy and I am actually taking over for Joyce. So I would like to start this with applauding Joyce for all the time that she's put forward. As for what the committee is, or the political action committee is doing right now, we're working on the political surveys that we're going to be giving to every candidate for office. The goal is to basically put together surveys that we would like them to have answered. So they're short, but they are on topic and focused towards their role that they're running for. We will be handing those out at the beginning of this next week. And I'm hoping we can get all the responses back, a little optimistic, but before we have caucus. Now that's important this year, particularly because Indivisible is pushing to actually support or endorse a political candidate for each office prior to caucus. So keep an eye out for those. I did want to call out a couple of people who have participated in that, and that was Shauna Ambrose, Allison Romer, Glenn Fieldman, and Jan Hopkins. So we've got all that work done. Expect to see updates to the website on that information. What's next? As I mentioned, we're going to be reaching out to those candidates. You guys will see all the responses to those. And then caucuses are coming. So there will be caucus training. I believe in the CTA last Friday, there was a call out that Indivisible is going to be doing caucus training. I'll make sure that we reiterate that again, because this is, as we've seen, going to be very important for the upcoming elections. And I think that is it.
You have action team meetings?
So action team meetings, I don't believe we have anything put together at the moment. I may end up putting something together for caucus training, though Indivisible is a pretty good resource for that. But I gotta keep an eye out for a CTA on that.
Thank you, Tyler.
Next, social connections, which is me, Julie Callahan. I want to say that one of the things we do at APA in the last year is we have had the discussions about what are we doing to fight the authoritarian fascist takeover of our country. And I believe that their number one tool is to make people feel isolated and alone and powerless. And as a social person, I'm here to tell you, you are not alone. You are not powerless. Okay. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to be having a book club that will be on February 19th from 6 to 7:30 at my house. The book is Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. It's a book. He was a concentration camp survivor, and he talked about what psychological survival looks like. And I think considering what's going on here with the daily deluge of negativity, and we're feeling helpless when we know we have concentration camps and people being abducted, it's important to know what we each can do to stay resilient. We're going to start having coffees again. The next coffee will be February 22nd. It will be a Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Place to be decided. I'm going to call around and find out who supports our causes, and we will have coffee there. I'm not going to have coffee at places who support ICE. Lastly, we will be having a happy hour. Again, if the weather holds, we're going to have it outside. If it doesn't, it'll change, but it's going to be the last Friday of the month, February 27th from 4:37. There will be, if it's my backyard, there'll be a fire, snacks, and beverages. I just want people to know you are not alone. Reach out anytime. We will all get through this. And lastly, I want to say the last few months, I've had some personal issues where I've had to step away. So I haven't been very involved, and everybody has been most supportive, and I thank you, and I am back. Thank you.
Kathy Blake has her hand raised.
Oh, she's on it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, can I go next for healthcare?
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay, great. I'm Kathy Blake, APA Healthcare Action Team Leader. Can everybody hear me all right?
Yeah. Yes.
Great, okay. Our team advocates for a publicly financed, privately delivered universal healthcare system in Colorado and nationwide. Think improved Medicare for all. I've been really sick, but I'm better now and I'm being cautious, so that's why I'm not there. Okay, biggest news. $750,000 has been raised by all of you and other folks, advocates, to pay for the healthcare analysis created by Senate Bill 25-045. Thanks for all your contributions. Meeting of stakeholders to advise the researchers starts on February 23rd. Representatives from state organizations representing nurses, doctors, dentists, mental health people, labor unions, people that are homeless and or disabled. Public's invited, and if anybody's interested, let me know. It's on Zoom. The study report will be happening it's due December of this year. The Healthcare Alliance is planning a campaign to increase public and legislative support for the ballot issue that will implement the healthcare single-payer plan. If you have ideas about how to educate folks on single-payer healthcare stories or other suggestions, we'd love to hear them. Our next Healthcare Action Team will meet on Saturday, February 25th at 4 p.m. Come be a part of the process to improve and affordability and health for all Coloradans. Also, there's one more thing. The March 13th, there's the Colorado Consumer Health Initiative is having a legislative lobby day at the Capitol. So if you're interested in that, that's a great way to get to talk to your legislators and get to meet some other healthcare advocates. Thank you very much, and I will hopefully see you guys soon.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thanks, Kathy.
Next, we have Immigration Partnership with Pat.
Hi, everybody. I'm Pat Malone, and I lead the Immigrant Partnership Team. And last Sunday, we had our first come together social/meeting, and 40 people showed up, more than are in this room right now. It was incredible. And some of them are in this room right now, right? Yeah, and we got to meet. So there was a ton of energy, new people, young people, not that, old people are great too. But there's new energy, and when people show up, you know that they're ready to go to work. So one of the things that's happening as a result of that, in fact, some of them, they gathered together. They met there and they gathered at the Arvada Beer Garden, I guess it's called, today before this meeting. So lots of energy. I highly recommend that any of you who live in a neighborhood, and I think that's all of us, that you go to a website called We Keep Us Safe Colorado. And it's every one of us needs to be safe, and we need to know what to do to keep our neighbors who are at risk safe. A lot of this has just been put together, I think, by the Denver IPT, and it's got tons of information there, and it will. So whether you're a part of IPT or not, we all need to know in case they show up in our neighborhoods. And we're WKUS. A lot of their information has come as a result of what's happening in Minneapolis. So we learn more every day about the ICE resistance tactics. And my immediate focus is to expand leadership, the leadership of one. There's plenty of work for everybody, no matter what level, what capacity you have. But in order for us to be effective and get people slotted in, there's more than 250 people on the team and more joining all the time. So I'm looking for other leaders who can form a core team with me so that we can do a better job with all this energy. So if you think you're one of those people, potentially, let me know and we can talk. And as always, time is up. As always, there are red cards for Know Your Rights cards on the table in the back, and buttons, Protect Immigrant buttons. If you'll wear it, please take one. I send out updates email updates about every 2 weeks. This was our first time that we gathered together. It was so good. I'm sure that we'll do it more, but I don't have regular meetings. But that's probably going to change once I have a core team and, we get broken down into smaller groups. So thank you for your time.
Excuse me, last we have our rally team and Mara is going to discuss that.
I don't want it. Hi, I'm Mara Otley. I'm with the rally team. I'm going to talk fast because I have a lot to do. Join us every Sunday at 11 to 12:30 or 1 o'clock on the corner of 80th and Wadsworth. You can park on either side. We're on either side of the street. We've had, this event is on Mobilize and the APA Facebook events page. We've had enormous growth in January. Last week, we had over 300 proud patriots making their voices heard. So we're going to try to keep that momentum going, and we're going to add a new day for a weekly protest. So join us every Tuesday at 4 p.m. at the corner of Ralston and Wadsworth. If you want to take the lead and add another day in another corner, reach out. Next weekend, we have a busy weekend, many great events. The first one is Ice Breaks Hearts Visual March, Silent March. It is Friday the 13th at 5 p.m. We're honoring the victims of ICE. We'll meet at McKelvey Park in Old Town. And there you'll grab black armbands. We'll have the victims' names on a heart, a broken heart that you'll carry. Or if so many people show up, you can also carry a tea light. We're going to march through Old Town to the town center square. There we'll have a little vigil, and then we'll march back to the park. This event is also on Mobilize and the APA. No, it's not on Mobilize, but it's on APA Facebook. Then on Saturday, the 14th, from 12 to 2, we have Love Not Hate Rally. That's at the corner of Wadsworth and Ralston. This is our Valentine to the U.S. We'll have heart signs, we'll have music, we'll have dancing. We'll have a good time. We'll get lots of hunks. So come out, join us. And the ICE victim hearts will also be displayed there too. And this is on Mobilize and APA Facebook. Save the date. No Kings 3 is March 28th. You'll get complete details next week after all the events stuff next week. Worried about missing a rally? And I'll put it on the entrance table. I have a QR code to join a signal group. This will list all the rallies in the Denver metro area. So you never miss one. That's all I have. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Harriet has her hand raised.
I just wanted to say that the Ice Breaks Heart events on the 13th is now on Mobilize. They finally put it on yesterday.
Good. Thank you.
I'm the Mobilize scheduler person.
Okay, thank you all, our action team leaders. I'm now going to turn the meeting over to Allison, who will host the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. We have so many action teams now. It takes a while. So Lisa, I think you're still on. Okay, good. I see you up there. So today we're going to talk about how Colorado school districts have been facing huge budget deficits. I'm sure many of you have heard, and if you haven't, it's happening. And we're going through declining enrollment, state deficits, and then Tabor, which always puts a cap on like what the state can keep and spend, are among the reasons we are coming up on a nearly 49 million deficit in Jefferson Public Schools, but I think actually changed to 60 million. I think I heard that in the presentation. So it's like a 60 million deficit in Jeffco schools alone. There are different proposals on how to help fix this deficit and fund our schools. The mill levy override, we're not going to talk about that today, but that is one that will be on the ballot. We don't have a number yet, but if you want to be a part of planning that mill, there are meetings that you can join. But today we're going to hear from two speakers and initiatives to solve this problem at the state-wide and what's happening across the state, not just in Jeffco. So first we'll hear from Lisa Weil, and then Dawn is also going to co-present with her. Lisa is from Great Education Colorado, and she will speak about the Get It Done campaign. And that this is kind of about the adequacy studies, and this will be focused on meaningful school funding reform. And then we're going to have Lisa Garry, so we have two Lisas. Lisa Garry from Jefferson County Education Association, and she will speak about the Cut the Ropes campaign. So it's Get It Done, Cut the Ropes. We want both of these things. And that's going to be addressing structural issues that are holding school finances back. So there's two different approaches on how to recoup some of the devastating education funding losses we've seen in the state. And if both of these initiatives are successful, our schools will be in a much better position. So first, we will start with Lisa. If you can share your screen, and if you can't, let us know. And if Tyler has the presentations locally.
I do need permission.
Permission, yeah. I think if you make her a co-host, go ahead and make her a co-host. Yeah.
I won't abuse my power, I promise.
Don't pick anyone out.
Okay, so you should be set.
All right, you're a co-host.
Okay, there we go. All right. Well, I so appreciate this opportunity. As Allison said, I'm Lisa Weil. I'm the executive director of Great Education Colorado, and actually one of the founders from 23 years ago. And I am more optimistic today than I have been in all those years about our ability this year to really make a difference in the short and long term. I'm sorry I couldn't be there with you. Just some family health stuff, but I wanted to make sure that this is really a conversation, and that's why I am thrilled that Dawn is going to facilitate some conversation. So I will just get this moving. For those of you who don't know, Great Education Colorado is an organization, like I said, we've been around for 23 years. Our vision is a Colorado where every student, no matter where they live, how they learn, the color of their skin, the language spoken at home, their identities, that every student can graduate ready to lead their best life. And our mission, the way we accomplish that, is by bringing together the power of grassroots and the kinds of things that you're doing right now, and bringing together inclusive networks and coalitions to ensure that every student can attend a public school that is welcoming and fully and fairly funded. And so we're going to give the big picture of what that looks like, what full and fair funding actually would look like. And then we're going to talk about where we are and how we get to that North Star. I just, before I hand it over to Dawn for this new, this is hybrid on steroids. I just want to say that the last half hour of listening to everything that you all are doing is incredibly inspirational, and just confirms my optimism that we are headed into a really meaningful year of meaningful progress. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is the adequacy studies that you may have heard were done last year. But really what it's all about is what a fairly and fully funded school would be. So I'm going to let you take it away, Dawn.
All right. So microphone, I'm not used to these, but I'm not a very good projector, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it. So we want to start this off by asking you to ask yourself, if schools were fully funded, what resources would our students, teachers, and district have? So I'll go ahead and start off. We would have smaller class sizes. Does anybody else? Ooh. Yes.
We would honor our AMP teachers, that's art, music, and PE, because students often have that as their intelligence. Gardner told us this decades ago. I'm a teacher. I am not pleased with the fact that our AMP team is being cut. There are not even enough resources for a half-time librarian to really. And I want more textbooks. I don't want my students' faces constantly on computer screens. And currently I'm teaching 4th grade, but I've taught kindergarten, 1st, 3rd, and 5th in Jeffco. I'm at an international baccalaureate school that is not a charter school, and everybody can come to it. So we have a lot of the ideas that we want probably in this room, the students who are ready to go out there and be decent human beings. And I just want enough so that my students can do science experiments, so that they have more than just one textbook that's 30 years old. And I could give you a whole litany, but I'll stop.
No, that's great. Aren't you the key, and better resources in our classrooms, textbooks that aren't over 30 years old? I'm gonna go to the.
I think we would have support staff that would allow the teachers to actually have their time that they're supposed to have. You know, their lunch hours and their planning that's uninterrupted, and not, oh, we have an emergency, you've got to take this half of this class because there is no sub or whatever. There's very few paras in elementary schools now. Secretaries are being pulled to do lunchroom and playground duty, which is ludicrous because I was a principal secretary at an elementary school, and there's not enough time to do the work that you as a secretary have to do, let alone manage the clinic and, you know, do extra duties. So hopefully that would happen.
Carly has raised her hand.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
thank you. We have a 9-year-old in Jeffco, and we have a 4-year-old son who we recently found out is on the spectrum. And for us, it is now completely shifted to what he needs versus what a public school can provide. He will need year-round schooling, at least for the foreseeable future, and that is not an option. At the recent ICE Out rallies, we received zero communication from Jeffco Public Schools. I know that DPS set out a communique saying that they could serve most kids, but that kids who were disabled were not able to be served that day. It just feels like in so many ways, IDEA and the way everything is set up allows for us to be legally discriminated against, to the point now where I don't want to let people know that he has autism. And for me, him being served and kids that are not neurotypical that can fit into that little box are really need to be served through our public schools. I see a lot of kids leaving public schools, not because they want to, but because they're scared to have their kids in that system. The school to prison pipeline, all of it just absolutely terrifies us as we are learning more and hearing directly from parents who are in public schools now. So I just want to lovingly lift that up for this group. I would really like to see some efforts here, especially as they break everything at the federal level. Can we have a disabled learners bill of rights that really serves not only kids like mine, but other kids that aren't fitting well into that one size fits all hole? So I will put away my soapbox. I just can't thank you all enough for everything that you guys do for our community and this opportunity.
Thank you. Okay, so if we're going to have fully funded schools, what I think we need are, you said resources. 85% of the budget is personnel. And I think we need to focus in on attracting and retaining qualified educators. And that includes not only our classroom teachers, as you said, we also have a lot of teachers that support our students, but also counselors, nurses, psychologists, all the things that help our students, the whole child, thrive in a well-funded educational system.
Thank you. Robust school libraries and professionals to staff them. Got one more hand, two more hands. All right. All right, we'll go back and then we'll do three more and then.
Hi, I teach at Arvada High School, and I have 33 students in a room teaching English, and the research shows that 15-to-1 is optimal for teaching, and even 25-to-1 it's good, it works. Yeah, but 33 students per room, and then we have I have tutorial, I have all these extra things that I do, and then at our school we're facing huge cuts, and so we have to look at what can we let go, and anything we let go affects all of the school. Sorry, that's too loud.
Wow.
Yeah.
These are people who
Yeah.
really committed themselves and they're being cut out like it's a puzzle or something. Let's just get.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's some extra work for the librarian, and I mean it's really hard. It's so not fully funded, and it's painful.
All right.
It would look like me being able to take my kids on a field trip without it negatively impacting my theater program, because since we're a Title I school, students who can't afford the field trip, that money is waived, which is great. And then it comes out of our budget instead. I also can't find a bus driver to take us on a field trip anywhere because we don't have enough of them because they're not paid well. So it would look like being able to take my kids on a field trip that would enrich their educational experiences.
One more hand.
Reasonable caseloads for speech language pathologists.
All right, so thank you for raising all of that up, and we're here to talk about a plan to fully funded thriving schools. So we're going to first talk about the adequacy studies. Last year, two reports were produced or after they were commissioned in 2023. And an adequacy study is a state-specific scientific research to determine what resources are necessary, what we actually need to get from this point to this. What do our students need? What do our schools need so that we can provide an adequate education, an education where all of our students have what they need to thrive. And you brought this up. K-3 classes, 15. Grades 4 to 12, 25 students in a class, tutors, more counselors. A lot of the things that you all are raising and seeing in your schools are exactly what these adequacy studies said that we need. Extended day in summer school for students with additional needs. We brought that up. Comprehensive options, technology, curriculum, minimum staffing for electives. So you all brought all of this up. You know what we need, and the studies have demonstrated that we actually do need these. Yep, increased teacher pay, reduced workload. That's what our teachers need. One instructional coach for every 200 students. These have been shown scientifically that this is what our students need to succeed. The bottom line is these studies, so there were two of them. One showed that we need an additional investment of $3.5 billion. The other one showed that we need an additional investment of $4.1 billion to have these fully implemented. We're going to talk about, I heard some miles in the room, and we're going to talk about how we can create a plan to get there. Right, I'm going to leave it over to Lisa.
Thank you so much, Dawn, and thank you all for your conversations. As you can see, you are experts. This was the first time that the state has ever commissioned an adequacy study to actually find out what we should be providing. And so you are the experts, and your instincts are completely confirmed by the science, as Dawn pointed out. So that's where we want to be. That's the North Star. That's where we need to be. Where are we now? This falling red line graph shows how Colorado compares to the national average in per pupil funding all the way back to the 70s. You can see what Gallagher and Tabor did. Amendment 23 was passed in 2000. And that was, while it made things a lot better than it would have been otherwise, it was not enough to make sure that we keep up, even with what the national the national per pupil average is. You can see here that it ends at about $2,000 per pupil below the national average if Colorado were getting a C. I will tell you, by the way, that we will no longer be updating this graph because the department that does this number crunching has been dismantled. So we're $2,000 behind the national per pupils. That's still true. And if you heard about the legislature saying, hey, we got rid of the BS factor, where the governor has said we are fully funding schools because we got rid of the budget stabilization factor. What that means is that we are currently funding our schools at the level inflation adjusted to 1989 levels. And that's not even adjusting to the cost of doing business. It's the consumer price index. Our districts are buying healthcare and energy and pensions. And so our per pupil funding is far behind really what was really being spent for our students. And that was before technology, before COVID, before some of the behavioral health issues that we're seeing. So let's see, why won't it let me go forward? There we go. One consequence of that is that Colorado has literally the least competitive teacher wages in the nation. That's a comparison of what teachers make to what they could make in other professions for which they are qualified. The largest gap, 38.5%. Some people call it the martyr gap, that if you want to be a teacher, you have to take more than a third, a pay cut of more than a third. And you'll notice second from the bottom is Wyoming. This is why folks, and New Mexico has much smaller. This is why people try to teach in other states living in Colorado. So why is this happening? There was the BS factor, which was a mechanism the legislature used to not keep up with the requirements of Amendment 23 in the Constitution for over 15 years, and $10 billion was taken out of our schools. We now no longer use the BS factor. The legislature is not using the BS factor to reduce the amount of money that we spend. But that $10 billion is a debt that the state is never paying, has no plans to pay back. It's a debt to our students. The share of the general fund that goes to education has been shrinking over time. And of course, as has already been mentioned, the Taxpayer Bill of Rights has all kinds of limits in it. And specifically, there are a few things that Tabor does. As you all know, it requires voter approval for tax or debt increases at the state and local level. And every district, school districts, every district has to go to the voters, which is expensive, complicated, time consuming. It places a cap on the revenue collections and mandates. It requires that if we spend more than the artificial Tabor cap allows, or if we raise more, if there's more revenue than that, then it has to be given back. And that's something that Lisa Garry is going to talk about is over the past few years, we have given back a whole lot of money that could have been spent in our schools. It prohibits certain types of taxes, including it is unconstitutional in Colorado to have a graduated income tax. And as you all know, it sets ballot language, means it has to say, shall taxes be increased by total number, scary number, and it all has to be in capital so it looks angry and scary. So those are just some of the things that Tabor has done that has complicated our ability to stay up with the needs of our state, not just in education, but our whole safety net is frayed. Add to that federal funding cuts in the one big beautiful boondoggle bill, cuts to education, nutrition, pushing those federal costs onto the state so that suddenly next year we have to pick up 15% of our nutrition, our SNAP benefits that used to be covered by the Fed. So they've cut. In addition, also in the Reconciliation Act, it cut taxes for the wealthy. And when it did it for at the federal level, because Colorado connects our income tax to the federal tax deductions, et cetera. When they gave those federal tax cuts, they also took $1 billion out of our revenues, mostly, again, received by corporations and our wealthiest people. So, and it blew a hole in our budget for the current year, the year that we're in right now, and the year that the legislature is going to be planning in their next budget, which goes into effect next June. And on top of all that, what we've got is real threats to try to privatize education. Evie already mentioned the federal voucher plan that the governor has decided we should opt into, despite the fact that it'll take public dollars and put them in private schools that can discriminate on any basis and without any protections for fraud and abuse. So that's what we're up against. I'm going to let Dawn talk for a minute as a Jeffco mom about what that looks like in Jeffco.
So I've just been given the 2-minute warning, so
Oh,
I'm just
God.
gonna...
Okay.
Sorry, I think we went a little long with the Q&A, which was important, but yeah, we're looking at a lot of cuts to Jeffco. It's ugly. Mental health, family engagement, class sizes, fewer teachers. We're looking at a lot of not good in Jeffco at the moment with a $60 million budget gap.
Okay, thank you, Dawn. And I will whale through this next stuff. This is the depressing part, but we are working together toward getting it done. And we're just getting away from there's nothing we can do. I guess voters just like their Tabor surplus and all those myths, to get to a place where we're all coming together to get it done. The Get It Done campaign, this logo is about an effort that we're working on together with a lot of organizations, and CEA is supportive of this idea that we are not going to let the legislature forget about those adequacy studies. We are a wealthy state and we can do it. These are some of the organizations that have signed on. We got the Senate last year in a bipartisan vote to say that to declare their intent to implement the adequacy studies over time. Don't know how they're going to do it yet, but at least they're saying they're going to do it. And we will have another ballot measure this year. I'm sorry, not a ballot measure. We'll have another resolution in the House. And if you sign up and use the QR codes, we will keep you posted about how to do that. So Get It Done is about raising the understanding of what that North Star is and working with legislators to say, okay, if we get more money, this is how we're going to spend it to make sure that it's as equitable as possible. But in order to get from where we are to where we need to go, there needs to be fiscal reform on the ballot. And now is the time that we have to do it. So to adequately pay our teachers, we got to protect what we have now and keep working on the adequacy studies, and we got to pass fiscal reform. I'm going to talk about the graduated income tax. Lisa is going to talk about a way that we can lift up the cap, that artificial Tabor cap, and keep money. And as I think Allison said, if both of those things were to come to pass, we would be on the road to adequate funding of our schools. It would be phenomenal. So this is just one way. I'll give you like 2 seconds if you want to. This is our advocates network. This is Great Ed's community of people that we bring together and give all kinds of opportunities. It's kind of like what you guys do with APA, where if you care about issues, if you log in, if you become a part of the advocacy network, you're going to have a lot of opportunities to know how to take action. The second is that, am I okay to just talk? I got 2 minutes.
The QR code on the back table for you.
Oh, thank you. What I'm talking with the group that I'm talking about, or the measure, is protect Colorado's future. And this is our message. Coloradans work hard. Our tax system shouldn't get in the way. So we want a fair tax code that supports all our schools, childcare, healthcare, and the future we all deserve. These are the organizations that are currently on the steering committee. There are others, including Colorado PTA. Would love to have APA join this if interested, but this is the coalition that is putting a graduated income tax on the ballot. We got we got a few titles successfully last week. We're going to choose from among them, and we're going to start. We will have petitions within 3 weeks. And the rallies at the corner of Wadsworth and, Ralston, and those are going to be great place not just to gather signatures, but to hand out petitions and get other people to go out and talk to their communities, because that's what's going to get this over the top. This is the ballot measure. It looks angry, like I mentioned it would, but the money would go to K-12 public schools, healthcare and early child care and education. And what people will see on the ballot, because of Proposition GG that we passed a few years ago, this is the impact. 97% of Coloradans will get a tax cut. And it's only after $500,000 that your income above $500,000, there will be a higher tax rate than our current one. And then as you go up over $750,000, the tax rate will go up again. So this is really helpful. This has made a huge difference that on the ballot, people will be able to see, yes, we are increasing taxes by 2 point whatever billion dollars, but this is what it's going to mean to you. So you can use this on the right. That QR code is to let us know that you would like to stay informed about carrying petition, being a notary. On the left, if you just want to stay in touch and hear about what we're doing, you can use that QR code. I know I'm going to, we'll make sure that you can see this. This is one last thing I want to point out. Evie mentioned this. This is our petition. We're still hoping that when the rules come out and the governor realizes that he can't do anything to make sure that the federal, this is also from the One Big Beautiful Boondoggle bill, the federal vouchers are not going to allow any state to really oversee those dollars. We hope that you will consider signing that petition. That will get you connected to Public School Strong, which is another thing that we can talk about if there are questions. I see Carly has raised her hand, and so that's it. I'll leave that up. And Carly, is there?
Yeah, just a quick clarifying question. I didn't realize it was for K through 12 and ECE and healthcare. I was curious about the split, and also just kind of understanding from a parent's perspective, a child who was in the early intervention system, they drop you in the middle of the ocean in rough seas the day before you become 3, and they push you to Jeffco Child Find or wherever you go. For him, it was not a good fit, and we are very privileged in that he went to a full-time preschool, very small. He's been there since he was a child. It is the place he needs to be. And when he is now qualified for the universal pre-K program, they ask if your child has an IEP plan. And so I said yes. Well, that immediately takes away your choice. And the voters were very clear when it came to early childhood education. And I know this is a really sticky wicket, but that was kind of what folks said, that ECE money could go to any setting that fit them, friend, family, network. And then I'm just curious about the interplay, because as someone who finds themselves in this place where you're just in the middle of nowhere and there's no connection between ECE and K through 12, and all the studies say that the resources for ECE really ought to be 0 to 3, and early intervention really ought to follow children from 0 to kindergarten, even if that is 6 years of age, even if that child is not going to go to a public school. I just wanted to put it out there. I know we don't have time. I know it's very political, but as we go down this rabbit hole together, I just wanted to lift it up. And if there's any, is it like a third in terms of the funds that are raised from it?
In order to make sure that we got single subject, we did not specify percentages. So this is not going to be self-executing, but what you're talking about, we passed early childhood. We did not have enough money to really make it so. Early childhood can mean 0 through 5. And so this is not going to be self-effectuating. We're going to have to advocate. We're going to use the Republican form of government, not Republican small r, that representative is what I mean, but representative democracy. We'll have to fight to make sure that these dollars are spent well, but it's going to be fighting over $2 to $3 billion more that would not otherwise be in the budget. And that is, we'll all be at the Capitol. It's going to be critical that we're all there.
Thank you. That makes a lot of sense.
Thank you, Lisa. We're gonna move on to the next presentation, and then at the end, we'll have everybody can ask questions to either of the Lisas about either of their presentations. So in the interest of time, just because that took longer than I thought, can you pull up the Cut the Ropes presentation? And Lisa, you can speak. And thank you, Lisa Weil, for that, and Don.
And all the QR codes are in the back.
And all the QR codes in the back. And I will say that I will send out both of these presentations in our next newsletter. They'll be linked so you can go through them and you can get all the QR codes. So here you go. Thank you. Hi, I am Lisa Garry. I teach math and gifted and talented seminar at Arvada High School. And I am a year-round organizer with the Colorado Education Association. And I am a Jeffco mom. So I'm here presenting the Cut the Ropes campaign. We're going to raise the cap on spending because it's just a number that they decided.
One second, I'm going to swap it so we're sharing the presentation.
Yeah.
There you go.
Cool. So this is a multi-phase campaign that we've been doing for over a year that I've been a part of. Right now, we're in a postcard phase where we are writing postcards to legislators, to state legislators, and hand delivering them to the Capitol. Last week on Thursday, Jeffco alone delivered just under 500 postcards. So why did we pick postcards? We need the legislator to refer a 2026 school funding ballot measure. So we need to let them know how important this is to us. And they respond to personal stories. Your personal story is the most powerful one that we have. The postcards sound like they are only from teachers, but they can be from everybody because I assume everybody in this room thinks that public school funding is important and that everybody deserves an education. We'll come back to this slide later too, because I am going to ask you guys to do an action today, because this is the Arvadans for Progressive Action, right? And the action will be writing postcards. So these are our local senators, and then the leadership of both Senate and House. We're also working on phase 2 concurrently because phase 1 is going to end next week. Any postcards I get from you guys tonight, I will deliver to JCEA on Tuesday, and then they'll get them to the legislators at the state capitol. We are also asking our school board to pass a resolution that they will prioritize a ballot measure as part of their lobbying, their political lobbying as well. So we've talked to a few of our school board members and they seem really on board. They're going to vote on it this Thursday at the school board meeting. Make your plan, work your plan. There are things that you can do in the meantime. The Colorado Education Association has a few lobby days coming up, and they have them themed. I think the next big one is the statewide day of action on March 19th. We are always welcoming extra folks coming down and talking to people with us. And then we have our 2 school board meetings, the one on the 12th this week. We'll be talking about the Cut the Ropes campaign, and then it's always important to be engaged. There's also one in March. I thought I skipped this slide, so this measure allows Colorado to use the state revenue it already collects. It does not raise taxes or change anything. It includes independent public audit every year, so Coloradans can see exactly how that money is getting spent. And we need it because we are severely underfunded. We are funded at the 1989 levels, as you heard in the last presentation. If you weren't aware, it is 2026. That was a really long time ago. So
What this achieves, it frees up funding that's already collected so that schools can hire and keep highly qualified educators and staff members. You guys were all mentioning so many roles in education that go beyond just like a teacher, and they are all deeply important. As Dr. B was mentioning, our school is facing severe cuts. We're looking at a 14% budget cut, whereas Evelyn is looking at a 1.5% budget cut, but you know.
Yeah.
Why is this approach responsible? It limits spending to only what is needed for K-12, and it's not a full repeal of Tabor because for some reason people are not ready to let go of Tabor, even though we're the only state in the nation that has it, and it doesn't work. I don't know, sentimental value, I'm not really sure. And it uses existing revenues so families are not asked to pay more. And it's updating the 1992 limit to align with 2026. Also, it polls really, really well. Like, this is looking good. Kind of when we ask people if they're down, they're like, yeah, let's go. So let's go. Questions? Yes.
So, you're saying this raises the Tabor cap, basically, but is it only for education?
I don't have the answer to that question. I think it is only earmarked for education right now, but I can't definitively answer.
Or is it debrucing, but that is a debrucing?
Yeah, it's debrucing.
Okay, so it allows the excess revenue above the Tabor cap to be retained and spent, right?
Yes.
But only on education, or you're not sure?
No, you know what, now that I think about it, when in my talking points that I've talked to people, I've been told to also bring up, it'll help fix roads and healthcare and other general public services. Two of my best friends just moved here and they helped me fix my windshield. And I was like, it's okay, guys, we're going to do this every year. All of our cars, every year. And I would love to not hit so many potholes. So yeah, I do know that it helps, not just education. Yes, sir.
We keep talking about a graduated income tax of people that make over $500,000 a year. And I mean, I don't make that much, and I know that I can play all kinds of games with my income, so it doesn't look that much. And I know that most people that make $500,000 a year know how to hide it in the Virgin Islands, because my sister has a job creating shell companies in the Virgin Islands. In the Virgin Islands, so a rich person in Weil doesn't have to pay high income taxes because they made their money in the Virgin Islands. So I'm wondering, what occupations are you trying to hit with this graduation?
So that is a question for other Lisa.
So you can let
And
Lisa
Lisa
answer
G.
that. Go ahead, Lisa.
So we're not trying to hit any particular profession. What we are trying to do is make our system more fair. The people who will be paying the graduated income tax are the people who got the biggest cuts from the reconciliation bill at the federal level. And it also includes corporations. And over 90% of the corporate tax paid in Colorado are are national companies like Amazon, et cetera. So, and I would say too that there is, and our governor talks about this, that people will move out of Colorado if there's a graduated income tax. Massachusetts passed one about 3 or 4 years ago. They have seen no such exodus, and they have raised more than they anticipated. And that was with their millionaires tax. So that's I think people move to Colorado for more reasons than we have a flat tax at 4.4% income rate. So like I said, it's not aimed at any professions. It is aimed at folks who are getting a break and who pay less of the percent of their income in taxes. When you add in state, local, and federal taxes, the wealthy pay a much smaller percent than those who are paying for sales tax, et cetera. And so this is just trying to create a more fair tax. And there's like, I got to get this number down, but there's well over 20 other states that do a graduated income tax. Colorado did till 1986.
You kind of missed my question. My question was, who is unable to escape it? I mean,
Who's unable?
like a psychiatrist can't say that I made this money elsewhere because I provide the service here at my businesses, but who can't escape it?
I hear your question. We should probably get more data. All I can tell you is that like in Massachusetts that just did this recently, it is raising money, and I don't know that I mean, I think a lot of people are already using all of those tax breaks. And if they hadn't been, I mean, if they didn't have to pay any tax, they wouldn't have gotten, Colorado wealthy people wouldn't have gotten $1 billion of state tax relief. You know what I mean? I mean, yes, people can figure out how to avoid taxes, but they were still paying enough taxes that they got tax relief from the one big beautiful boondoggle bill, and they got state tax relief from that connection to the federal government as well.
Can I pull us back on track just to wrap up a little bit? Continue these parts later. Can we go back to my slide briefly?
Give me a second to pull that. Carly had a question in the meantime.
Cool. Carly, what's your question?
I don't want to be suspicious of anybody's intentions. I just look at roads and transit and education, which I love all of them. And I think about our lovely governor, whom I love, his love for rail. And I think about the cost of rail versus the cost of education. And I guess for me, I see this as a first steps advocacy. We need to get these things to a yes so we can get the money. And then I want to just lovingly lift up to this group of amazing advocates. What are our next steps for advocacy of these pots of money? Let's assume let's be Pollyannish, assume they both pass. Then how can we ensure that some of these dollars actually go to education? And what does that look like? And what does that split look like, given all of the competing priorities in the world today? I just put that.
100% hear you. Yeah. I know that the Colorado Education Association has been working on that next phase. I haven't delved into it, but I think that is a work in progress. And I think you're 100% right that we need to be doing that as we're doing this as well. Cool. I'm going to wrap up. This is a QR code to stay up to date with the Cut the Ropes campaign and what's going on with the Colorado Education Association. I'm also going to pass out postcards. If you could go to the slide with the legislators' names on it, our direct legislators are Lindsay Daugherty, Lisa Cutter, and Lisa Ferre.
Also Brianna to town.
Yeah. Yeah. And isn't Brittany Patterson around here too?
That's you.
Federal. Yes, thank you.
So if you go back one slide, that's a house. So Lisa Ferre, but also Brianna Tatone, and maybe some Shannon Bird. Does anyone have a Shannon?
Oh yes, Shannon Bird.
She's Stanley.
Bird anymore. It's Lori Goldstein now.
Oh yeah.
Lori Goldstein now. Thank you. I talked to Sheila Leader last week. She was very gung ho about unions and cut the ropes. Yeah, we're gonna pass out the postcards. If you guys could fill out 1, 2, 5, I would love to deliver them for you. Thank you guys so much for your time and for being here.
You can stay up just in case. Okay, hold on. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now we'll
go officially to questions, and you can ask questions to either of the Lisas or Dawn, and I'll probably bring the microphone to you so that everybody can hear your question. And then, so Katie, I saw your hand up first if you have a question, and I'll come to you. Or you can come up. My question is around revenue levels.
because I feel like we've told the voters we're gonna solve this problem in the past. So I'm curious if you guys have estimates of how much revenue these would bring. Good question.
I can speak to the Protect Colorado's Future graduated income tax. We are deciding between two different measures. We have title, which means we've got approval from the state for and through the whole process to print petitions, and we have to decide among them. And one of the big decisions between the two is which level. I would say it will be somewhere between 2.5 and 3.5 billion that would be raised by the graduated income tax.
And that's in a single year?
That is annual, yep.
Annual. Okay. And so that you'll be on the camera, if you have a question, please come up, form a very organized line. And
What about the other one?
The
other Lisa has.
Do you have, so the question was, is there estimated revenue generated by raising this Tabor cap? Do you have an idea of what the estimated revenue would be?
I don't.
Okay. Anyone else?
Well, it depends on what the excess revenue is that year.
Oh, yeah.
Like currently, there is no money above the Tabor cap, but next year, there's probably gonna be at least 3.5 million above the Tabor cap. I think that's the amount.
It also depends on what the ballot language ends up being, which I've heard they're close to solidifying.
Could you repeat that just so people could hear it who may not have? Sorry. Just gives me the people that are on.
Sure, maybe I wasn't. It also depends on what the ballot language says, which I've heard they're close to solidifying.
So from my understanding, it's, you keep the amount that's raised over, and we're writing these postcards right now to have one of our legislators to refer the ballot measure. So it hasn't been written yet. So there might not be, it's not on the ballot yet. So we don't know exactly the amount of revenue, but yeah, that's the understanding.
Yeah, I think the thing is the projections for upcoming revenue are pretty low in the coming years.
Yeah.
So just thinking about that.
Yeah.
Okay, I just found the accurate information. This year, we're 215 million below the Tabor cap, but the next fiscal year, we could be as much as 700 million above.
While everybody is writing postcards, I would like to have Danielle Varda come up and speak to us for 2 minutes as she's a candidate running for CD 27. HD, sorry. HD 27, currently held by Rep. Tone.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you can give a little of your background, that would be
Sure.
terrific.
Okay.
So,
And I did
Stand here.
I didn't come here to introduce myself, but thank you. I just seem to be part of the group and learn today, so I will be really brief. But I'm Danielle Varda. I am running for HD 27 Rep. Tone's term limited seat. I have been a Jefferson County school board director for 4 years and just finished my term in December. I am a resident of Arvada for about 20 years, and I have 3 girls in our schools. I have a 12-year-old, 14 and 17-year-old, and I have 3 girls in 3 schools because we are a product of school closures and choice. While on the board, I closed 21 schools, including some of my own kids' schools. So deeply embedded in this conversation and community. And I want to say thank you for being here and doing this work. When I was on the board, I just longed for conversations like this with the community. We get all our information from the district. I mean, like 99%. And we don't know what these meetings are going on. So I would encourage you, I've talked to some folks in the group before about how to connect this conversation and these interests and these questions back to the board, and happy to do that anytime. being on the board was probably the biggest honor of my life and the hardest thing. Not just doing this kind of work, but this budget work was really hard. Our priority was giving raises to teachers and faculty and staff. And at the same time, that meant we had to go into our reserves to do that. And we're still behind in Jefferson County from all of our surrounding districts. So despite doing our best work to get there, we watched enrollment decline, which means our budgets declined. So I was so glad to hear Lisa W. say that how positive you feel right now, because I feel that way a little bit after this meeting as well. So thank you for this work. I will just end with saying a little more generally outside of public education, which I'm so excited to now take what I learned at the school board and go do this work at the Capitol. I want to work on the budget. I want to make sure our schools are fully funded and that we never go back to the BS factor. I'm super excited. I know we're not talking about a mill in Jeffco, and I know our CFO told us that if we maxed out all our mills right now, it'd be 60 million, which is our $60 million deficit. The irony of that. And just as a point of clarity, it's actually we are at 45 million because we're taking 15 million from the Capital Reserve Fund to make up for that 60 million. That's what that is. But and I wanted to say I was on the phone all day because I was calling delegates who have signed up, which I hope all of you, every person in this room, will sign up to be a delegate in the upcoming caucus and assembly. And talking to people, and I can tell you at the top of the list are the things that about what they care about are the things that you all are working on in all your committees. So defending our democracy and making sure our human rights violations stop, watching the courts, that our administration take advantage of the courts. And I think we need our legislators to really hear people's exhaustion and frustration. So thank you for that work. And I spoke to 2 older adults today who said, I finally retired and I had done everything to make sure that we were ready for this. And now, because everything's going up, we're, living in our later life and worried about losing our homes. So I think that I can't even tell you which one of those topics is higher on everyone's radar right now for what we need to focus on. And so I just wanted to say that because I want to keep hearing from people. So if anyone would love to reach out to me, please do. Our caucus and assembly is like the next thing, how we get on the primary ballot. So thank you for giving me a minute. I'm sure I went way too far. And just thank you for showing up. I'm so encouraged being in the back of the room by how many people are here to talk about the budget right now for our schools and our kids. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you for coming up. You came in a little late, so we missed you. Anyone else have questions?
Yeah, I just came up to take over again. I came up to take over because I want to make sure everybody got a chance to donate the basket. Somebody had said not everybody got it, and if you want to make a donation and you have not, let me know. Otherwise, I'll hand it back to Allison for more questions. And lastly, just to say our next meeting is tentatively scheduled for the first Saturday of March, but it's also Jefferson County Caucus Day. So if you go in caucus, then come here after. Okay, thank you.
And we haven't planned that meeting yet, so it might just be, maybe we'll just happy hour it.
This is on Zoom if you live in Jefferson.
Yeah, it's on Zoom and it's not at the same time, so there's no conflict of the meeting, so you can caucus and then you can just come on here. Did you have a question?
I just want to shout out one more thing.
Okay, does anyone, before we end, we have about like 2 minutes left. Does anybody have any final questions for either of the presenters? No. Okay, one last shout out and then everyone can mingle.
I just want to shout out that once petitions drop for the graduated tax increase to protect Colorado's future, I am here to support anybody who wants to carry a petition, wants to sign a petition, to do any of that. I am here to help you, and I hope we will get it done. Well, we will get it done.
All right, thank you, everyone. Say hi to somebody you haven't met yet. today before leaving. That's your assignment. Oh.
There's QR codes back here. There's buttons. Please help yourself to some things.
And when you finish your postcards, give them to Lisa Garry right here with the cool Educate t-shirt. Thank you.
Thank